Enough with the holiday decor already. Rock stars. Christmas is about 3.5 weeks away, and that's like a hop, skip, and a jump. I'm shifting focus away from the holiday decor and shifting my focus over to building gifts. I'm talking about trending gifts. The projects that I'm going to be showing you how to build today are quick, easy, and cost effective. Meet me at the table saw. What I'm about to show you how to build is one of my secret weapons during Christmas. What I mean by that is I have picked up on a trend of stocking stuffers. I can't even believe I'm showing y'all this. It's literally just gonna make more competition for me. I'm gonna show you my most popular stocking stuffer. Try saying that 10 times fast, right? Enough of me rambling. Let's build it. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, share, and smack that bell. You can have the biggest tree with the most beautiful ornaments and lights set up. However, if you don't have stockings hanging up, I think you're missing out. There's no better feeling than watching the young ones dig through their stockings and pulling out their gifts. So today, I'm going to show you several stocking stuffers that you can get built. First project for this video are these soap holders. Hear me out. I'm going to show you how to take some simple yellow pine strips and turn it into a quick $300. Now, anytime you get 1-inch strips like these, good luck on getting a straight one. The good news is you don't have to have a straight piece because these are going to be cut down to smaller pieces. We're going to get 2 of them cut down to 16.5 and 3 of them cut down at 12 inches. There's a number of ways that you can get these built. I'm going to show you the quickest and most effective way to get these batched out. Next thing we'll do is take them over to the bandsaw and get all these pieces resawn to a 1/2 inch. Then we'll take our 12-inch pieces and resaw them one more time to a 1/2 inch, getting 2 out of 1. Using our crosscut sled, we'll go ahead and take those 12-inch pieces and cut them down to 3.5. So I'm going to take these longer pieces and I'm going to get them ripped down to 3/4. Alright, so here's how we turn and burn this project and get to that profit. We're going to come 1/4 inch in off of each side and a 1/2 inch in from the edge and glue our first piece. We'll be using some regular wood glue and some CA glue as a temporary clamp because you do not want to put nails in this. We'll put one on this very edge and then we'll put one at this edge. Now what I've got here is a 1/8 spacer that I'm going to be using to space these out evenly and add a dab of glue, a dab of CA glue, and some activator. Hold down pressure for about 10 seconds and let that glue dry. Now you can either use this spacer or you can just eyeball them. It's really that easy, not scientific. We'll add a dab of glue, 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 add a dab of glue. Now although my bottle says quick and thick, I'm using Type Bond 3 because it's going to be near water. After we put our 8th piece on this, we're going to take a 1/2 inch spacer and start another 8 and then continue on down the line. And you should have something that looks similar to this. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these loose because I'm going to show you something that you could do different if you have a belt sander. So we'll take this one over to our belt sander and I'm going to show you something cool. Now I've found that when doing rustic projects, the top of this belt sander acts as a cool little shaper. So what I'm going to do is shape out a concave right down the center of this. Let me demonstrate what I'm talking about. Now, this is not made for this, so when you're doing this, be sure to have a solid grip on your piece and be safe. Now, obviously, you don't want to do this on more of the fine woodworking projects, but this is a good shaper for rustic items. After we shape it, I'll get it all cleaned up with 150 grit. And for our two that are still together, I'm going to get those trimmed up at the table saw. Before we cut these twins loose, we got a boogie. Shoogie boogie. Now, as far as the soap dish with the concave in it, what I've got here is some wood dye. I'm gonna use some sapphire blue. I'll leave a link to these dyes in the description of this video. If you ask me what the ratio is of water to dye, I have no clue. What I do is just play around with it until I get a consistent blue that I like. There's no easy way to do this, so I'm just gonna have at it with this little brush and try and get every little spot that I can. And there we have it. Our two with the sugar boogie and the one that we dyed blue. The good news, there's not much competition with these soap dishes. Now, to be fair, there obviously will be other people who sell them, but these things are going in a range from $10 a piece upwards of $60 a piece. Just make sure that you let the potential buyers know that they have a personalization option for different colors. That's what's going to be the seller. Our next project is another awesome stocking stuffer. I made this next project and put it in both of my kids' stockings and my wife's stockings, and they still use it to this day. And that was back in 2021. So I'm gonna bring it back and share it with y'all. This project can be made out of scraps, just like the first project. You want a piece of scrap that is at least 4.5 inches in width and about 3 inches in length. Something around that. The thickness can be up to 3/4 or no less than 3/8. The ones I made in 2021 are a 1/2 inch in width. So I'm going to take this to the bandsaw and get it resawn at a 1/2 inch. And I'll meet you back at the table saw. So back over here at the table saw, we're going to pull down from the top at 1 inch. Then we'll take from the left and right side and pull in to 1 1/8 inches. Now you're going to want to make sure that you have a 2.5 inch, what is this called? Hole saw bit. You can pick these up at any big box store. Even Walmart has them. Okay, so what I did here is I drilled out a piece with this bit. That way I could use it for a reference, lining it up with my marks. Once I line it up with my marks, I just traced out right to the center on both ends. Just get yourself lined up and get these holes drilled. Now the most important part here is that you line up with that inch mark we made from the top, and you want to leave just a little bit in between right here. And you should have something that looks like this. Now, back over on this side of the shop, we're just going to take and snap that piece off. You're going to be using this piece, and then we'll... And you're going to be using both of these pieces. So we'll take this bigger piece over to our miter box and get it cut down the same dimension. Now what you want to do is take your speed square and line it up with the very point of those holes, right where they come together. Square that up and do that on both of these pieces. Okay, and now we have one more hole to drill in both of these pieces. So right where we marked our centers, we're going to come to that 1-inch mark where we drilled our other holes and start our hole right above that. Kind of looks like Batman. I am Batman. Let me know if you've figured out what this is yet. Now I'm going to refine my shape. And we'll go from the top of the bigger circles down here and just kind of round them off and get rid of that sharp turn. From where we round them off up, I'm going to cut a 45-degree miter going back towards the top. Let me demonstrate. My hands are plenty far from that blade. Just take the cut nice and slow. At the bandsaw, we'll get rid of those marks we made, and then I'm going to round over the top and get this shaped up at the belt sander. I want to know if y'all have made it through the video without skipping to this point. If so, drop a comment and start your comment with the word Rockstar. Oh, have you figured out what I'm making yet? All right, I won't leave you waiting any longer. I'm gonna tell you what it is. This is some wooden brass knuckles. I'm kidding, calm down. This is what we call, I'm not sure what we call it, but it holds the pages of your book open, I guess. These things are super cool. My wife and my kids love the ones that I made them. Definitely a perfect scrap project for your stocking stuffers. You can design these in any shape, any kind of wood. You can market these for the hardwoods at $8 to $10 a pop. If you go into the exotics, hell, you could probably charge up to $30, depending on how far you want to take it. Now, our next stocking stuffer can be done as a single project or done as a set, and that is this coaster. I'm going to be doing a single coaster, but this isn't your normal coaster. This coaster is a special coaster. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First thing we're going to do is lay out for some dados that we're going to be cutting in this coaster. The typical dimensions of coasters is about 4 by 4. Right here, I've got a 3.5 by 3.5. I got my calipers set to 1 inch. And we'll just go from left to right and make a little divot with our dividers. Transfer those marks to the very edge. Now let's head to the table saw. For this specific coaster, you need to make sure you have at least 5/8 of an inch in thickness. The height of our blade is set to 1/8 of an inch, no higher than that. Once we get all of our inner cuts made, around the perimeter, I'm going to make the same cut on all 4 sides. Now, what do I mean when I say I'm only making a single coaster? And why would I be making just one coaster? Well, that's because not only is this a coaster, this is also a bottle opener. We're going to install this on the back side of the coaster. So we need to mark the center, and we need to drill out 2 3/4 inch holes in the center of this, and then drill out 1 3/4 inch hole around this bottle opener. The actual bottle opener itself needs to be drilled to about 3/8 of an inch deep. And I'm actually going to be using this 1 inch bit instead of that 3/4. But we got to make sure we don't go past our bottle opener part and get in the pathway of our screw holes. Let me demonstrate. So you should be left with something that looks like this. Unfortunately, I don't have the 1 3/4 inch bit. This bit is 1 7/8 inch, and that should work just fine. It'll just have a little gap on the edges. You don't have to drill deep. You just need to go about a heavy 1/16 deep. And you should be sitting flush with your bottom. Now I'll place my bottle opener where it looks best, and I'll take and punch right where those screws go. After we punch those holes, we'll take our little 1/16 inch drill bit and just drill a little bit out so we don't split this walnut. And before we install our bottle opener piece, we'll fit these screws. Now we can take our bottle opener and get that installed. We'll go ahead and get this cleaned up with the sander, and we'll be popping bottles before you know it. And we'll hit it with our favorite finish, this spray shellac. Oh yeah, we're on a roll now. I've got a couple more projects that I'm going to be showing you, but I'm going to kind of speed through them a little bit. And these are so simple that all you got to do is follow right along. Let's get to it. Just like the majority of woodworkers, I have a stockpile of wood that hasn't been used yet, aka scraps. I've got a piece of supplier that measures out to 2 1/4 in width, and it is 1 3/8 in thickness. And I'm going to get a piece of it cut down to around 2 1/2 inches. But for now, we're just going to square one of those up and leave it long, and I'll show you why. We'll bring it to our vise, and I'm going to pull in 1/4 inch from the very edge and drill a 1 inch hole right below that 1/4 inch mark and right in the center of this piece, going 1 1/2 inches in depth. Alright, now while we still have it with its length, we're going to take it over to our router table and route out a key slot right at the back side of this. I'm using a 3/8 inch key slot bit, and the depth of our key slot is going to be right above 3/8 of an inch deep. We're going to route from the bottom up. We want to center our bit with our block, and we're going to make a 1 inch key slot. Just like so. Now back over here at the miter box, we're going to make one cut, and that's going to be a 45-degree miter cut. We're going to pull down 1/4 inch right from our hole and start our long point right at that mark. Just like so. And here you have another awesome stocking stuffer, a little propagation station for your wall, or you can hang whatever you want on it. Now for our last, but definitely not least, stocking stuffer. This one is amazing, and I can't remember where I saw it or if I even did see it or just thought of it. But check this out. I've got a piece of mahogany, and it is 3 1/4 inches in width, and that's perfect for this project. My thickness is at 7/8, and you want at least 7/8. You don't want to go any thinner than that. And our length is going to stay long for now. And here at the table saw, we're going to cut a bevel right across this piece. Let me get to it. Get your bevel set to a 45. And we're going to use our miter sled. And you don't want your blade height above your piece. You want your cut to be 3/16 from cutting all the way through. Let me demonstrate. That cut was made at 1 3/8 inches from the bottom. Now we're going to take and pull up from the bottom to 3 1/2 inches on both sides of our piece here. Now pulling from left to right, we're going to pull in 1 inch. Now over here at our vise, we're going to drill 2 1 inch holes right at those marks we made, drilling down about 1/2 inch. Now we're gonna head over here back to our router and get a key slot routed out. We're gonna do the same deal. We're gonna find the center of our piece, and from the bottom going up, route out a 1-inch key slot. Just like so. We're gonna get it cut to 5 inches. Just like that. Well, rock stars, if you don't love these projects, you got something wrong with you. I really like this one a lot. All of these projects are just super unique, super innovating, and the perfect projects to stock your stuffings with or turn a big ass profit. For something like this, you're looking at around 15, maybe upward to 25 bucks. For these little gadgets, you're looking at about $8 a pop. For this little fella, $5. Why not? We already went over the soap dishes, but the one that really stands out to me that has the potential to bring in a big ass profit are these innovative coaster bottle openers. How cool is that? You could even just slide it right in your pocket. Take it to go.